I have never seen this many punctures in the final of a race, even in Paris-Roubaix. Cycling is back. You can talk about Omloop opening weekend, the desert races, pancake flat roads, except we actually do have a hill climb, the Skyview stage later in the week. But this is Saudi Tour. We're back in the desert. We got some big sprint trains or sprinters here. It's the opening flat stage, finishing in Kaiba, the Saudi team leading them off. There was strong winds, but not too threatening in terms of a crosswind. Goikoetches in the break again. Uskatel straight trolling me 2 years in a row. And Jaco Alula were controlling with DSM. They've got Dylan Groenewegen here. He won 2 stages last year. Alula's the region this race is in. They're a co-sponsor, so it's an important race for them. Degenkolb there. Buitrago, last year's winner. Another good course for him. And the flats already started for human-powered health, for Movistar, for everybody really. And you can see in Sander Hansen's arms and sort of shoulders how much the road surface, even though it's paved, is kind of jiggling about. No head units. No head units for UNOX. I wonder if there's a bars issue with their bars. They can't mount head units. A lot of their riders didn't have it. Ackerman was here as well. They're probably the second best sprinter on paper, but he seems to be sick. He got dropped on like a false flat uphill rise. And then UAE got new signing Großschartner here. He came to the front talking with Formula, like, what do we do? More flats for Uskutel later in the race. And then another one. This is the longer one for UNOX. And listen, I'm not here to start a disc brake versus rim brake, debate. That's not what this channel's about. I know if I was going to a race with 0 descents, 0 humidity, 0 rain prospects, pancake flat sprints, I know I'm choosing disc brake every time. So, this long change and, oh, hold on, they've changed the back wheel and there's some issue. The mechanic then notices, hold on, you actually got a front wheel puncture too. So he double flatted. I don't know if the rider even knew, because the rider kind of pulls off. Is it Abrams, I think, number 52 for UNOX, and he's looking at the back wheel again. And he's like, and the guy comes over, the mechanic, and looking at the chain or whatever's there, and then eventually we'll change the front. Now, this doesn't go in the Trobro Leon category of bad wheel change, because the actual UNOX mechanic knew what he was doing. He was fine. And then Groenewegen, he flats, but there's still 38 Ks to go. And, unless DSM going to go to the front and pace really hard, he should be fine, although their car, I'm not sure if they were giving him the drive. They kind of accelerated away. I mean, why? If I was DSM, I wouldn't help Groenewegen get back to the Peloton. His team can come back and echelon him back in, which they did. James Knox, look away. Look away for your sanity. Don't watch this. Listen up, everybody. Niels Eckhoff too. He's even in the race. Don't look at this. Apparently, it's not a common thing, even though it happens in every race in the calendar. Sander Hansen still heads 17.5 Ks. We're getting closer to town where the roads will improve. You can see it's quite rolling, undulating. What is going on here? The Shimano neutral service vehicle with the breakaway with Sander Hansen, the front guy, because the rear neutral service vehicles run out of spare wheels. He's stashing them like vegan cyclist Death Valley style at the 15-kilometer go marker, so that the rear neutral service vehicle can pick up a couple of spare wheels. And you can see that here. That's the 15K to go marker, I think, there, which the Peloton's now approaching. They're like 20 seconds behind Sander Hansen at that point. DSM, though, moving in, sprint trains are forming. Degenkolb here, I wouldn't be choosing the gutter if I was the teams. I think the teams in the middle, based on just looking at the race, I reckon that's the best place to be puncture protection wise. And DSM were in that gutter, and Degenkolb was too, where there might be more gravel, more stones, whatever. And he's gonna come a cropper just later. And unlike Groenewegen's, this is not a good time to have a puncture, 8.8 Ks to go. He puts the bike down, expecting, he's like 8 Ks to go. He's the last man. I gotta do a lead out. Let's just whip a bike off the rack. But the mechanic doesn't. He hits him with an Adam Thielen double move. Bang! See that? Source Gardner ain't guarding that. And he's just going to change the rear wheel, which takes more time. But maybe the bikes on the top take a while to get off the top. They're not like quick release ones. I don't know. They're onto a better road, as you can see now, and it's kind of slowed up, so Degenkolb was able to get back in. Otherwise, the move wouldn't be going off the front with 3.5 Ks to go and going 40 Ks an hour. Milan is there. He's leading out Rajovic, which is curious, Serbian national champ, I think. Pasqualon's not there. He's deeper in the field. He's also, I believe, supposed to be leading out. You see Degenkolb moving up in the gutter himself, and then Rajovic gets squeezed off Milan's wheel here by, I think, Degenkolb and Casper van van Uden. Jaco Alula on the right-hand side with Groenewegen, and they got Mezgets, I think is his last man. Big unit. He was a good lead-out man back in 2021. Not as good last year, but did good lead-out here. And Rajovic is going to make or at least start a beginning of a series of sketchy moves. He's going to jump up the inside here, and you're like, oh, well, it's clear space. Why can't he do that? What you can't see off camera is there's a piece of road furniture, and that's coming up. So he's going to have to move in advance of that curb. Tim Merlier did this in a race, and it crashed Buani. No one cared. So I guess this happens in sprints, but it's sketchy. The DSM rider holds on, getting his bars and hands hit. And then Rajovic, he's not getting a good draft here because DSM, they're not in the gutter. And so he wants to get on Milan's wheel a little bit, but then he kind of moves up next to Milan. And so you see his wheels on the other side of the yellow painted line, but he's going to duck in a little bit. And I haven't seen the overhead, but he ducks in at this moment. And as he ducks in, you see that Milan looks down at his wheel, and Rajovic also is counterbalancing to the left-hand side. And Milan has some sort of mechanical, and then there's a concertina effect, and there's a crash in the peloton. So that was a shame. And yeah, like Milan, as you see, puts his hand up as he's going back. He's had some sort of mechanical. So I haven't seen the overhead, but yeah, Rajovic in that sprint wasn't great from what I could see. And now it's all split apart. DSM and Bike Exchange, Jaco Alula are kind of intermingled, but then Jaco come late with Mezgets, with Groenewegen, and Van Uden's just getting bullied off wheels. He just couldn't get a wheel or didn't want to. Valscheid's a big dude, so I guess you're not going to push him off many wheels, and Valscheid sort of sits in the draft. Pascalon was leading out. I don't know. Rajovic was deeper, and downhill run like this, you know what's going to happen. Groenewegen's too good for these guys. Sort of the other good, top sprinters, Jakobsen and co. were in San Juan in Argentina, and so Groenewegen gets the job done as expected. He was a short favourite for the stage, and more important for Jaco Alula than a lot of the teams here. So good start for Jaco Alula. Groenewegen winning ahead of Rajovic, and Valscheid Verenskold in fourth for Nuno X. Mark Cavendish, new lead-out man, Case Bowl, is actually here for Astana going for himself. He came in seventh. But here's what Groenewegen had to say after the stage.
The peloton split up, and then I had a flat tire. But I say immediately that the whole team need to wait for me, and he did a really good job and bring me back, I think, in 2 minutes. So the team performance are really strong today, and we are really happy that we take the first victory of the season from the sprint train.
The confidence is perfect.
Yeah, we know that that the shape is really good for everyone, but in a race it's always different. And also this is a really important race for us, also with Alula on the jersey, so we make the sponsor proud, and I think to win the first stage is a good begin.
A punchy finish coming up that Buitrago won on last year, and then we've got the Sky Views 2.9k 13% steep climb of the plateau afterwards. Actually a good stage last year, so subscribe if you want to see that, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.